I uncovered my brother's sick secret, and now my parents are ruining my life for abandoning him. You think you know your family. You think the worst thing you'll ever have to deal with is a sink full of crusty dishes or a brother who doesn't understand that a trash can has a specific capacity. But I found out the hard way that sometimes the mess in the kitchen is nothing compared to the rot hiding in the bedrooms. My wife and I are both 26. A while back, we made the choice to rent a house with my two brothers, ages 21 and 24. They were desperate to escape our parents' place, and at the time, it felt like a win-win. We'd save some cash, they'd get their freedom, and we'd all live the bachelor-adjacent life together. It didn't take long for the dream to turn into a nightmare. Living with them was like living with two giant toddlers who lacked any basic motor skills involving a sponge or a vacuum. We're talking trash piled up to the ceiling levels of filth. They wouldn't even put the garbage in the bin, they'd just stack it next to it like some sort of disgusting modern art installation. Then, the stakes got higher. My wife and I found out we were expecting our first child. Suddenly, the messy roommate vibe went from an annoyance to a genuine health hazard. We tried to grit our teeth and stay through the pregnancy just to keep our savings account padded for the baby, but then Thanksgiving rolled around, and the world stopped spinning. We uncovered a truth that made the dirty dishes feel like a distant, happy memory. My 24-year-old brother wasn't just a slob, he was a monster. We found out he is a pedophile and had been assaulting our younger sister, who's only 18 now, for the last 5 years. The air in that house turned toxic instantly. Within days, the messy house issue vanished. Not because it got clean, but because the safety of my pregnant wife and my unborn child became my only mission. We didn't give notice. We didn't wait. We packed what we could and fled to my wife's grandmother's house, squeezing ourselves into a spare bedroom just to get away from the predator under our roof. You'd think a family would rally around the victims, right? Wrong. All of us, me, my wife, and both of my brothers, worked for our family's RV roofing business. It was our livelihood. But in February, just 1 month before our baby was due, the hammer dropped. My wife and I were pulled aside and laid off. The official reason? The company wasn't making enough to keep us on the payroll. The kicker? Both of my brothers kept their jobs. The slob and the predator stayed on the clock while the expectant parents were kicked to the curb. Now, the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. My parents and the rest of the family are treating us like the villains. They're acting like we abandoned the living situation and betrayed my brothers by moving out. They're choosing to ignore the years of abuse and the crimes that were uncovered, focusing instead on the fact that we disrupted the status quo. I'm standing here with a newborn on the way, no job, and a family that has effectively chosen a criminal over their own grandchild's safety. So, Reddit, AITA for walking away from that house and cutting ties with my family, even if it caused a rift that might never heal. What do you think? Should I have stayed to keep the peace, or was I right to burn those bridges to the ground to protect my kid?